So many people in this world hold themselves back from what they think is truly possible in their life, usually due to their own limiting beliefs and their limiting thoughts. Whether it be a level of financial success, personal achievement, or simply just trying to find a balance in their life, our personal beliefs and what we tell ourselves can quite literally determine the trajectory of our lives. Yeah, our thoughts are that important. I'm Rasean. I'm host of Motivate, Grind, Succeed, the podcast, and today we are diving into the crucial topic for all you high achievers and success believers out there of the scarcity mindset and limiting beliefs. We're going to be looking into how these things can hold you back from reaching your true potential, talk about where this mindset and these beliefs even come from, and how it can negatively affect our lives if left unchecked. But in typical MGS fashion, I'm not just going to leave you with that either. I'm also going to give you 6 steps to help you to recognize, combat, and override these beliefs, as well as leave you with a very fancy schmancy mnemonic of abundance as the TLDR, in case you want a quick reference to this information in the future. Sounds good? Let's hop right into it because we got a lot to get through. The scarcity mindset, it can manifest itself in various ways, and this can lead to fear, anxiety, and even unhealthy competition. But the common denominator is that when we believe that there is not enough money, not enough time, not enough resources, not enough insert, fill in the blank there, we operate from a place of lack. There's not enough money, like I said, to invest or start a business, not enough time to go work out. I don't have enough resources to go help this person or coach this person. I don't have enough knowledge to be seen as the expert in a field, so on and so forth. We tell ourselves this thing all the time. And this mindset can do a lot of things. It can cause us to do things like hoard our resources. I don't want to give nobody that. Like if I can't figure this out and I can't do this for somebody else, how in the world am I supposed to give this to somebody else? This can cause us to not want to spend too much money. There's no way I'm going to spend $5,000 on a coach. There's no way I'm going to do that. I got burned by a coach before in the past, potentially. We can mistrust others. We can believe that other people even have it out for us, or they're going to take advantage of us. And sadly, this can even spread to the people that we care the most about. But what about the working professionals out there, right? Of course, it's obviously for the entrepreneurs and the high achievers and everybody out there. But what about the people who work in that 9-to-5 setting? Well, this can prevent us from taking risks, even if they're calculated, missing out on opportunities for growth and for innovation, whether it be at our day job or, as I said before, in our business. A common saying that I heard a lot in various corporate environments was, it's done this way because it's always done this way. Yeah, when you hear that, that should be ding, 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 red alarm for, yeah, this is where dreams go to die. There's no innovation here. So instead of collaborating and working together, the scarcity and the limiting belief that we hold can cause us to see others as threats to our success, or in a more colloquial term, vultures just want to swoop in and take our goods and take them and fly away. Things that we worked months and even years to build up. So the question is, where does this mindset even come from? Well, the scarcity mindset often has roots in our upbringing and in our early experiences. Most of the beliefs that we have were formed around age 7. Now, as a quick aside, this is not an excuse, because you know how we roll here at MGS, okay? This is not an excuse for you to throw your hands up and say, well, it's been ingrained in me since I was the age of 7, so I guess it's not for me. It is what it is. Let's not forget about neuroplasticity. I've talked about this on past episodes. Go back a couple episodes and you will hear that I talk about neuroplasticity. You can change if you really desire to change. It's up to you. But up until 7, we were all just sponges, just soaking up information, whether it was beneficial to us or not. So your beliefs are quite literally ingrained in your brain, which is why it's so easy to act the way you do. I've said this on a past episode, and I'll say it real quick here again. The more you do something over and over and over again, habitually, you actually form a physical groove in the brain. When you have to take those actions, the neurons, which are the cells in your brain, fire little electrical impulses. And the more you do it, the stronger those impulses become until it becomes literally second nature, which is why breaking habits is so difficult, because you're literally telling cells that have been trained for months and years to do this one thing to now do something else. Anybody who's worked with people for an extended period of time and you did something a certain way, you know how hard it is to change how it is. You always want to default back to the old way. You always want to go back to the old method of doing things. It's the same way with your brain. That's why it's so difficult. Think about it this way. If you grew up in an environment where resources were relatively limited, or where we were taught there isn't enough to go around, these beliefs can become deeply ingrained. In fact, when I found out about this, I did a little test on myself just to prove how prevalent the scarcity mindset and limiting belief are without me even realizing it. So here's what I did. And you can do this too if you want to, but here's what worked for me. I drove to my nearest mall, right? And I walked into a Timberland store, like the shoe, the boots. So I walked into the store. And the reason why I walked into that store was because when I was in high school, Timberlands were a really big status symbol. Like if you wore Timbs, which is short for the Timberlands, you were something. Okay, you were something. You had money. It was good. You wanted Timbs. Okay, so me at this point in my life as a working professional, I said, if I want to go buy me some Timberland boots, I can go and do that. So that's why I drove to the store to say, you know what, I'm gonna go buy me some Timberland boots. Not because I deserve it, but because I can, just to prove to myself that I can do that. So I walked into the store and I saw some boots. I saw the boots. They look really, really nice, really, really stylish. And for those of y'all who don't know me, quick side note, I do love very colorful articles of clothing, especially on shoes. So when I walked in there, I got a little bit of sticker shock when I saw a beautiful pair of purple boots. Now, I know what you're thinking. You would never wear a pair of purple boots. Remember, this is me. This is me, okay? So just hang with me for a second. I saw the purple boots. I loved them. At first, it was a beautiful shade of purple. And I was like, oh, I can rock those boots, man. I checked the price tag, $500. $500. I said, holy crap, $500 for a pair of shoes? That's way too expensive. Ain't no way I'm doing that, bro. Foot Locker over there, Foot Locker on the other side, bro. I saw they were having like $75 for a pair of shoes that looked really, really nice. Why am I spending $500 for a pair of Timberland boots? Makes no sense. So I left the store. I didn't buy the boots. I left the store because I was like, that's outrageous. There's no possible way I'm going to be spending $500, 500 smackaroons on those boots. Then I realized something. That was my scarcity and limiting belief playing in right there. Yeah. So what do I mean? How did that even show up? Because of the sticker shock that was there, I realized, I'm a working professional. I can afford these boots, but yet I still have the mindset of that's way too expensive. Now, to me, that's pretty expensive, $500 for a pair of shoes. But to somebody else who might be a sneakerhead, someone who really, really, really loves shoes, as much as I love doing this show, as much as I love my technology, like for me, for example, like the phone that I have, right? The phone that I have, it's at the time of recording this right now, this is a Samsung Galaxy Fold 4, right? I didn't pay for it outright in terms of pricing, but if I were to pay for it full retail price, this phone as spec would have costed me about $2,100 roughly when it was released, if I bought it full price. Me, I'm like, sure, fine. I know because I love technology. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'd pay that. $2,000 for a phone. But yet I'm thinking $500 for a pair of shoes is too much. So in the same way, someone who's a sneakerhead, someone who really loves shoes will not see the shoes as $500. That's it. That's a bargain. So I'm seeing, it's a couple things at play here. At number one, it's a value of how do I see $2,000 as not a lot for something when that's literally 4 times the price of something else? It's because of where we put our value. Let's think about that for a second. In fact, let me put it to you in a second example. Okay, so second example. I remember when I had gotten on a call with a coach that I have. And I remember we were talking back and forth. It's coffee style chat, rather. It was a good call overall. And then I remember at the very end when he was hitting me with the, if we were to work together and here's what we would be able to accomplish, this, that, and the other. I started feeling like, it's turning a little into a sales call or something. You know what I'm saying? It's turning a little into a sales call. I don't know how I feel about this, but again, power's in the hand of me, the customer. I can always say no. So I was like, all right, cool. We'll keep it going. And so then when he quoted me his price, won't say it, but when he quoted me his price, my first thought was there is no possible way I'm going to pay him that amount of money. That's absolutely insane. People can charge that amount of money legally. There's got to be something in the rule book against this. No, it was not. Again, it was another thing of where is my value? I would spend $2,000 on a phone, but not $2,000 on a coach. And again, his price was not $2,000. I'm not going to say the price, but I would spend $2,000 on a piece of technology, but not spend $2,000 for someone that can help me, even though I spent multiple tens of thousands of dollars going to college. So it's a question of value. Now I have this thing in my head of now, Why am I valuing certain things in a different way? Oh, it goes back to how I was raised. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Again, I love my parents. My parents were great, but it comes back down to what is it that I value from the upbringing that I had? Again, for y'all who don't know me, a lot of people listening to this probably do not know me, but long story short, my parents are immigrant parents. So for anybody who understands, anybody else who has immigrant parents listening, you're probably understanding already, like, yeah, I know what he means. Like, money wasn't just like, I wasn't flooding in money. I wasn't bathing in riches, wiping with $100 bills and then crying myself to sleep with 20s because my dad didn't give me $5,000 this month. Right. So I didn't grow up like that. So when it came around things, hearing this large sum of money for this type of a thing, it took me a lot of work and a lot of time to really dig down and understand where is the value in this. It took me, I'm not gonna lie, it took me months. It took me months by myself to realize, where is the value in this that this person is providing? Where is the value in this thing that I want to buy? I'm exchanging these little face pages here for perceived value, and different people perceive value differently. But here's the bottom line of what I'm trying to get at here. The scarcity mindset and the limiting beliefs that we tell ourselves a lot of times come from our value level. Okay. If we see something is very valuable to us, we will rationalize that just fine. We'll go ahead and we'll spend the money, spend the time, spend the resources to do this thing or to get this result. We'll do that all the time. But something that's not as valuable to us, we're going to withdraw. We're not going to hold on to it tightly. It's going to lead to things like self-sabotage again, the missed opportunities and general dissatisfaction, not to the point where we want to change, but just to the point where we can just relatively comfortably tolerate. And unfortunately, when we're stuck in this mindset, we tend to undermine our own efforts because we don't truly believe that success in these different areas that we have is even possible. You focus on what is limiting you, you are going to overlook the possibilities, the opportunities, the resources, and everything that is already available to us. So, to combat this, let's get to the actual tactical stuff. You can follow the same steps that I did. Number one is to first recognize the limiting belief. Now, this is way easier said than done, trust me. But some simple steps are to start with identifying phrases like, I can't afford this, or I don't have time, or there's no way I can do that. You want to look for things that are phrased as an absolute. There's no room for questioning. Okay, remember back to my Timberland story with the boots and everything? What did I say? That's too expensive. I can't afford that. That's a waste of money. There is no room for, did you actually mean, no, this was an absolute. This is what I meant. When I said that's too expensive, in my mind, I meant that is too expensive. There is no way I can afford that. That was an absolute in my mind. That's the first step. You want to find those absolute sayings and remember those, because they're going to come up with the second step, which is to challenge those. When you catch yourself saying an absolute statement in the negative, ask yourself, is this really true? Oftentimes the answer is no. Let me explain. When I told myself in the mall that was too expensive, is it really too expensive? It is priced that way because somebody will buy it. It probably just won't be me at that time. Because, like I said before, that's not too expensive for a shoe head. That's not too expensive for a sneakerhead. That's not too expensive for somebody who just loves Timberland. This is, for example, why Apple can get away with charging, $600 for a set of wheels for a computer? Because to the person who buys it, Apple is valuable. That's how they get away with it. Because in the eyes of the consumer, this is valuable. In the eyes of the consumer, this means a lot to them. What about the second thing that I told myself? I can't afford that. Well, in all technicalities, I really could just swipe the credit card and it's mine. Do I recommend that? No. Okay, this is not financial advice. Unless you got $500 plus tax to front the credit card bill when that thing comes around, I don't recommend you just go swiping your card and buying a set of $500 boots, okay? Third thing, that's a waste of money. That's what I told myself. That's a waste of money. Is it? To me, it is. But to someone who's a sneakerhead, someone who loves Timberlands, it probably isn't. They've probably been looking at those for a long time. It's all about perspective. So realize that the absolute that you're saying is really, if you question it and really dig down, it might just be a matter of perspective, that you're closing yourself off to prevent yourself from potential danger, whatever your brain determines to be danger. Wait a minute. Doesn't that sound similar to what I've said in past episodes, that your brain is wired to help you to survive and not to thrive? Huh. Okay. Pieces are coming together, but we're not done yet. Step number 3 is you want to reframe that language. This one's pretty simple. Again, not easy, but simple. Replace either or kind of language with and. For example, I can work hard and spend time with my family versus, well, I can either work hard or I can spend time with my family. Again, when you put it that way, it's like you're giving yourself an option. Well, what's more important, family or work? Why not try to do both? You can work hard and you can spend time with your family. You don't have to limit yourself to one or the other. You just got to be smart and be creative. The boots are a lot of money, but I can save up and buy them if I really wanted to. I can get that promotion this year and still not sacrifice my free time or work insanely long hours. I can add 10, 15, 20, 30% revenue to my bottom line this year in my business and still maintain a healthy work-life balance. You'll notice at first these kind of sound like pie in the sky statements like, oh yeah, sure, that just sounds all nice and cool. Just like you're saying it to say it, right? And that's fair. But these have to be followed up with the question, how? So let's revisit question 1. How can I work hard and still spend time with my family? Creativity, okay? Number 2, how can I save up the money to buy those boots? How can I get that promotion and still not sacrifice my free time? How can I add that extra percent to my bottom line this year? Now, at this point, you are now starting to see you can transform that scarcity mindset into creative thought, meaning you're giving your mind room to do what it does best. Be creative and formulate solutions, but you're not done yet. Because I want to talk about a concept real quick that I talked about in the past called value tagging. This is where this starts coming in. If you don't remember, you didn't listen to the past episode, that's fine. The SparkNotes version is this. The more you pay attention to something, the more it means to you, the more your brain starts looking out for those things. Examples like the red car theory. You buy a red car from the store, you're so happy with it, you think it's the best thing since sliced bread. Now everywhere you start seeing red cars and red cars that look just like yours. And you're like, these cars haven't been here before. Yes, they have. You're just more tuned to it now. So in order to leverage this, you want to first practice gratitude. Huh? What? Practice gratitude? Yes. Hold with me for a second. Spend a few minutes every day reflecting on what you're grateful for. I know you're asking, how does this work? How does this work with me battling my limiting beliefs? Let me tell you just now. Practicing being grateful for what you have will not directly help with the exact thought, but rather put you into a more productive headspace. Now, I've talked on previous episodes about removing distractions, and this is the same thing, removing physical distractions from your workspace, but this one's going to be on a mental level. You want to consciously remove any distractions, in this case, negative thoughts that can prevent you from thinking creatively. Why? Because without some conscious effort, our brain will revert back to its default settings and go back to what it knows best, which is the habit that we want to break. If you ever meet me in person, a lot of times people say, how you doing? I'll say all the time, I'm alive and breathing, so there's nothing to complain about. Now, is there stuff to complain about? Of course. I could complain about some body pain I had. I can complain about being sore from yesterday's workout. But what is that going to avail me? What is that going to do for me positively? Complaining about having an ache in my bicep from doing too many bicep curls yesterday, is that going to make it better? No, it's not. What is going to make it better is if I keep up with my water intake and keep the muscle relaxed and keep massaging it to help remove some of that lactic acid buildup. That will help. Complaining that it hurts will not help. Doing something about the pain will help. So again, how does that relate to the gratitude? Being in a negative mindset does not help. It simply leads in to your brain trying to help you to survive. We are trying to thrive over here, hopefully. So if you're trying to thrive, hopefully, then you will go ahead and you will then work on creating and culminating a mental space of positivity and just generally being happy about what's going on. Now, this is not to say that you're going to ignore all the bad things that are going on. You could say, I'm in a really, really bad situation right now, but I'm going to make the conscious choice to focus on the fact that I still have a roof over my head. I have a car to drive. I have a family that loves me. I have a bed to sleep in. I have clothes to wear. I have shoes on my feet. I have a ground to be able to walk on. I can actually walk. I can breathe. I can use all my digits. I can go to the bathrooms. There's so many things you can be thankful for and practice gratitude for, but we don't do it consciously. But if you do it consciously, I'm telling you, your life is going to change. Step 5. Okay, because we got 2 more steps. Step 5 and 6. 5, visualize success. Imagine your ideal life where this limiting belief that you have, whatever it is, does not affect you anymore. If you're having trouble trying to picture this life, ask yourself questions like, what is the legacy that you want to leave? How does your dream life fit into the vision that you have for your life? What's your life calling? What do you want your impact on humanity to be after you're gone? Or my personal favorite, if you were to picture your ideal you in the future, all the success, the wealth, the fame, the social circle, the family life, the spiritual health, the mental state, what would that version of you tell you that you need to do right now to get to where they are? What would they tell you? Chances are you should probably do that. And I guarantee you, for you to get to that state, it's not going to be sit and pity party and think about all the negative stuff in your life. But these are just a few of the questions that I ask myself and I ask people that I work with and that I help to help them get them out of that scarcity mindset and out of those limiting beliefs. Because trust me, once you sit with these questions and honestly, truthfully answer them, it's going to open up your mind to the possibilities of what you can possibly do. And lastly, create a balanced schedule. This is going to be a derivative of my personal favorite question. Once I figured out what my dream life was and how I wanted to live, I then reversed engineered that to start working on the tasks, the activities, and set the goals that help me to accomplish what it is that I wanted to accomplish. Your job is to do the exact same thing. Plan your day to ensure focused work is done towards achieving your dream life, as well as quality time for yourself and loved ones. This will take time. And most importantly, this cannot be done correctly until you break the limiting belief first. Until you break those beliefs, until you break the scarcity thoughts, this will not work. Because you can set up the dream life. You can do all the tips I'm telling you. Set up the things in your calendar. Set the notifications. Start working on stuff. But I guarantee you, set your watch to it. I guarantee you, there's going to be a time when it's going to get tough. And the scarcity belief or the limiting belief is going to come back. And because you didn't break it already, it will stop you in your tracks. And you're just going to stop right then and there. And you're going to come up with every reason in the book. I'm telling you because it happened to me. You will come up with every single reason in the book to not continue on. And you will drop it like a hot potato and not come back to it and rationalize it with the logic later. So I'm telling you, break the limiting belief first, and then move on to the next steps. So let me leave you with this. Embracing an abundance mindset will allow us to see opportunities that were once hidden and build healthier relationships with our friends, our family, our coworkers, and achieve greater satisfaction overall in all areas of our life. The world is inherently abundant. Sit with that thought. The world is inherently abundant. And by changing our mindset, we can tap into this abundance and transform our lives. Remember, either you'll find a way or you will find an excuse. But you can't do both. And lastly, as promised, the TLDR, the mnemonic of abundance. A, acknowledging your limiting beliefs. B, believe in possibilities. U is to understand that abundance is natural. N, negate scarcity thoughts. D, dedicate time to focused action. A, always. What's the definition of always? No room. Always. No exception. Always practice gratitude. N, nurture an expansive mindset. This means to challenge the beliefs. C, commit to continuous growth. And E, embrace the and mentality. Hope you guys got value from this, and I'll catch you on the next one. And guys, that's going to wrap up this week's episode of Motivate, Grind, Succeed, the podcast. Guys, again, if you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe to the show for weekly uploads. If you love what you heard, be sure to sign up for that email list. And if you hated what you heard, be sure to share it with somebody who will appreciate it. Also, if you guys want to get access to the show notes or any kind of resource or link or to anything that was referenced in this episode, be sure to check out that episode's description below. You'll also find the contact information, any freebies, or any sort of thing from our little corner of the internet. Check out the episode's description. It's going to be an absolute gold mine for you guys. Until next time, take care, and I will see you in the next episode.